Clay.com is hands down the best tool to generate leads, get new clients, and grow your business. I've personally used it to grow my new business from $0 to over $1 million in annual recurring revenue within just 7 months. I've also generated north of $8 million and thousands of book sales calls across my clients in that same time frame, all using Clay. And spoiler alert, the first time I ever even used Clay was 6 months ago. I'm now one of the top 1% of users using it every single day for my business. So for that reason, in this video, I'm going to share everything you need to know about Clay.com, everything from building qualified and validated lead lists of decision makers, crafting highly personalized message at scale that looks human written, as well as creating your own AI web researchers that can be prompted in just plain English to prospect your market at 1,000 times the speed of a human. And if you're looking for the secret on how to generate leads with Clay, it's really this simple. You just need to get past that first 2 weeks of using the tool without giving up, so that way you can really understand it and leverage the power that it is. So with that said, let's get right into Clay.com. All right, so when you first go to Clay.com, if you're looking at this March 2025, this is what you'll see. Go to market with unique data and the ability to act on it. So Clay is a really powerful and complex tool, which most people don't ever make it past this landing page because it just takes more time than a few minutes to really understand what Clay is. But at the end of the day, it is a data enrichment tool and an automation tool that you can use if you don't know how to write code. So I'm just going to go ahead and click login, and we're going to get into my account here. All right, so when you log in, you're just going to see basically the best way to visualize this is like a Google Sheet folder, right? So a Google Drive folder, but just sheets. And so in this, I have a bunch of different tables, which I can open up and I can see different data. And that's pretty much the extent of what the UI is as far as how the data is structured. So the first things first, let's talk about how to navigate this tool. So you can create new tables here as well as workbooks and folders. You can use those to organize your data, your sheets, your tables, whatever you want to call them. You can also navigate here to your trash to find anything deleted you might want to find. And then when you go to export a table, you can find your exports here where you can easily download them. If you want to add anybody to your workspace, you can just come up here to settings. You can change your workspace name, your billing email, and you can add people to your workspace. If you have any external APIs with Apollo, HubSpot, OpenAI, you can go ahead and add those here. So you'll just add the connection, you'll select what you want to add, and then you can add the API key. And this is going to become a little more important later down the line. Another thing that you'll see here is that you have credits on a paid plan. These credits can be used to run enrichments for any external API that you may not have an account for, which will make sense a little bit later. So let's go ahead and talk about how to upload your first list. We can go ahead and go to table. We can go to import from CSV, and I'll just select one that we can use here for a test, and we can go through and learn the UI a little bit together. So we've got our list here, and what you can see here is, a basic list that you might have exported from anywhere. In this case, we exported it from our paid Apollo account. And maybe I want to do some additional data enrichments or some data manipulation. So first things first, I've got my list here. So I've got first name, last name, job title, company name. If you've worked in sales, you're probably super familiar with being in sheets like this, right? So the first thing I want to take a look at is the email column. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to the left here, and I've got my email column. So let's say I want to go ahead and verify if these emails are valid. I can just click on the email column, insert right, and I can add an enrichment. And let's say I want to validate the email. I can pick from a lot of different email data validation providers like Find Email, Dbounce, Lead Magic, Zero Bounce, Never Bounce, so on and so on. In this case, I'm just going to select Find Email because I really like it. And I'm going to go ahead and set in the email that I want to go ahead and validate. And so I can hover over that column name and I can see a preview to make sure I have the right one. As you can see, the one it's selected is not the right one. This is the owner email. So that's myself. We actually want to see the prospect email. So I can click that, and then I can go ahead and click save and run 10 rows. And it'll go through and it'll run the verification row by row. And so here we can see, okay, great. All these emails are valid. If I wanted to run on all the rows, I could just click over the column and click run all rows that haven't run or have errors, and it'll go ahead and queue them all up and they'll all run. And so we can see here these are queuing. While those queue, we'll get into the next step, which is how do you find missing emails where you have the prospect's name? Well, first things first, we need to have 2 data points. We need to have the company that they work at in the form of a domain, so the company website, and we need to have a full name of the prospect. So in this case, we actually have first and last name, but we want the full name in one column, and we'll see why that is. And so I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to insert left, and we're going to add a formula. And this allows me to manipulate my data without using any external API. So let's say I just want the first and last name. I'll just say, can you please combine and I'm going to put slash, and I'm going to look for first name and slash last name with a space in the middle. And this is going to generate a formula in JSON. So this is what I'm talking about when I say you can do no code formulas. So I'm going to click generate formula. It's going to go ahead and generate a JSON formula for me here. And then I can view my input columns and my output to see if this is right. So looks like it's right. That looks like a full name. I'm going to say output is correct. I'm going to save the formula. And so now I've got the full name. It automatically is going to assume what it is that you want to name it. It's going to name it. But let's say it didn't give me the right name. I could just click on it, go to rename column, and I could name it what I want. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it as full name. So now I want to go ahead and find some missing emails. So I'm going to click validate email. I'm going to insert right, and I'm going to go ahead and add enrichment. And I'm going to say find work email. And I'm going to go ahead and click at work email waterfall. And so what is a waterfall? Well, let's get right into that. So waterfall is basically going to check a lot of different data sources to find someone's email, giving you a lot more coverage than if you were to just rely on one database like Apollo or ZoomInfo or Find Email or Prospeo or Drop Contact, whatever it may be. And all I need to input is the full name of the prospect, which we made with the formula, and the company website. And then you can put in a validation provider as well, which will basically validate the email that it finds to make sure it's good. So I like Find Email, so I'm going to use them because they're one of the only providers that's actually able to verify catch-all emails. And what you can see here is going to cost credits. So basically what this means is I don't have an account with Lead Magic. So I'm going to use some of my Clay credits to run this enrichment without having to set up an account with any of these external data providers, which is very convenient. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and run 10 rows. And then what we'll see is that it's going to go ahead and create a bunch of additional columns to actually execute this waterfall enrichment. And so now we'll see it's running find work email 1, 2, 3, and we'll see how this works. All right, great. So it found a lot of the emails already. And now we can see some of these say run condition not met and some say queued. Right? Well, why does it say queued for some and run condition not met? Well, you see green. So Lead Magic is saying this lead is valid. But remember, we set a validation provider to Find Email. Well, Find Email is actually saying, I don't agree. I don't think it's valid. And Find Email is one of the only validation providers that's actually able to verify a specific type of emails called catch-all emails, which Lead Magic does not currently have the technology to do. And so they're just guessing that it's valid if it's a catch-all. In this case, that's what happened, right? And so Find Email is coming in and saying, nope, it's actually, they guessed wrong. It's actually invalid. And so now it's going to run the next data provider, which in this case just so happens to also be Find Email. You know, here we say it only ran through 2 data providers, but if Find Email couldn't find it, it would check the next one and the next one and the next one. So let's just run a few more of these so we can see an example of what that might look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and run all here. And while those run, I'm just going to delete a few of these extra columns that I don't need just to keep everything organized and give myself a little bit more space in my spreadsheet here. And so you can just click on a column and then shift click to another column to make multiple selections. Then you right click the selection and click delete. And that's how you can easily delete columns. So we'll kind of mix in and sprinkle in a few directions about how to use the AI throughout this video. So I'm going to delete a few more that I don't need. So Apollo, great data source. So we have a lot of different fields here, but for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to need all of those. So let's go back and check the waterfall again. All right, so this one here, we can see that Lead Magic didn't find the email. So now it's checking Find Email, didn't find the email. Now it's checking Prospeo, didn't find it. So it's going to check the Tagma, and it's going to go on and on and on if we were to wait here, and it would process through all these different data providers, basically giving you really, really good coverage to find that email by any means necessary. And so all the while, it's going to charge you credits for enriching those emails. Now, if you wanted to get more simple, let's just say, I'm going to delete these just for the sake of the demo of this video. We don't need to go through all of them. Let's say I just want to use one data provider. Let's say I have my own API key for Find Email, for example. Then what I can do is I can go back here to my settings. I can go to connections. I can click add connection. Let's say I want to add in my Find Email API key. I can go to Find Email. I can name it Clay Find Email API key. And then I can go to Find Email. I can grab my API key. I can add it in here. I'm going to log in. I'm going to navigate to my API. I'm going to go ahead and create one. Go ahead and copy this API key, and I'm going to add it in here. I'm going to go ahead and click test account and save. Validation successful. And now I have my API key attached. And if I want to go back to that same one, and now let's say I want to run just a Find Mail for that specific one, it's going to be really important for saving money when you're actually building out your list, especially when you start building out bigger lists. So I'm going to type in Find Email, and I'm going to say Find Work Email, right? And I'm going to click that API key that I just selected. And so what you can see is we don't have a credit charge. So it says 2 credits for the Clay managed Find Email account, 0 credits for my own Find Email API key. Same thing, I want to plug in the full name. I'm going to plug in the company domain. I think I accidentally deleted it when I was clearing out columns. So this is great learning experience. So I can also harvest it from the email column. So I'm going to click email, insert right, add formula, give me everything after at in, and then I'll put the email. And so I want to get everything after at, so like HPC fires after at in the email column, and you just click slash and you can add in a contextual data point. So I'll click generate formula. And so what you can see now here, yeah, that looks all right. That's the website. So I'll put output is correct, save formula, and I'll just rename this website, or I'll name it domain. Now I can run my enrichment. So that's how you can use another example of a formula. So I'll go ahead and put find email. I'll put find work email. I'll plug in the full name in the domain, and then I'll go ahead and say I want output email and status, and I'll run 10 rows. And so now it's using my API key, which means it's not actually going to use any credits. And so that can save you money. You just can go check out the pricing page of an API, compare that to what you're paying for credits, and you can save some money here. Another thing to consider, and this is a great experience of how to run only if conditions. I don't want to find the work email for all of them, because these ones I already have a valid email. I only want it to run where I have an invalid email, like here or here. I could go through and click them manually, or I could give it a rule, right? And so let's go ahead and do that. So I'll click edit column, and I'll go to this only run if. So it's only going to run on certain rows that meet my condition. And so I'm going to go to use AI, and I'm going to say only run if slash, and I'm going to add invalidate email, verified is equal to false. Now if I click generate formula, and I can see here the example, I'll say output is correct, save formula, and I run all rows in this view. What you'll see says run condition not met where it's valid, and where it's invalid it's going to queue it and start running. So that's very convenient. So I'm saving my credits. I'm only running where I need to run. And for some of them it's finding an email, some of it's not. So now let's say I want to merge these columns together. Well, it's kind of hard to merge them. I can't merge them in their current state, because as you see, well, these are invalid, so I don't want those. I only want the ones that are valid. Same over here. I only want the ones that are valid. So what I'll do is I'll do some additional conditional. So I'll go to insert right, I'll go to merge columns, and I'll say first try slash email. So that's going to say I want to grab this first column for email, but only if, so I'm going to go to use AI, I'm going to say output slash email, only if slash validate email, which is that one, that validation we ran directly after the email column, is equal to true. Now I'll go ahead and generate that formula. I'll go ahead and click output is correct. I'm going to go ahead and click save. I'm not going to add an additional one yet, just because I want you guys to show you how this works. So now we'll see if I just pin this, so I can lock it to the left side of my screen so it follows me. Now I can compare it to my new column. Well, I also want to pin the validation status. I'm going to pin that as well, because I want to compare these data sources and make sure I'm getting the right output. All right, so these ones are all valid. They outputted, but the invalid ones are not outputting. This looks right. So now I've got the valid one, so that looks right. Now I want to output the second emails that were valid. So we can see already here that the find work email, it's not outputting the ones that are invalid. So it's going to make it real easy. So I'm just going to go to edit column, and I'm going to add an input, and I'm going to put slash find work email, and then the email that's outputted. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, and now we can see it's merging in that second one. Maybe I'll rename this one final email. So that way when I go upload it into Instantly or HubSpot or my CRM, whatever it is, I know exactly what column I want to use to import the email. So now let's say I want to find the mobile phone number of these people, because maybe I want to cold call them, right? Maybe I want to reach out to them. Well, all we need to do that is we need the person's LinkedIn profile, which I don't see here. Company LinkedIn, we want the person's LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure we had it. I think I just deleted it, but this is a great opportunity to show how we can use an AI web researcher agent to find their LinkedIn profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the email, after the email, and I always want to read left to right. So, that was the last enrichment that I ran, so I'm going to run the next one. And I'm going to put insert left. I'm going to say use AI, insert right. I'm going to select the model I want to use to power my AI web researcher. I like to use 4.0 mini because that's good for most cases, super cheap. I can use my API key, and it costs, fractions of pennies. I'm going to say I want to find the LinkedIn URL of full name who works at slash company, which company has website of slash company. The best way to find it is to do a Google search query, quotation mark, slash full name, slash company, LinkedIn. And so basically what that's going to output is like Gina Hardy, North Carolina Joint Underwriting Association, LinkedIn. Usually when you search that, you'll end up, their LinkedIn profile will be the first one to find out. Please output the URL of their LinkedIn profile and nothing else in a cleaned manner. Okay, now I can go ahead and click save and run 10 rows. And so now the AI agent is going to go do all the research work for me, powered by an AI with contextual information. So we plugged in the full name, we plugged in this, we plugged in that. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is you're not going to get 100% accuracy with this specific query because LinkedIn has invested millions of dollars into anti-scraping technology so that these type of agents can't scrape their data, because they want to protect their users. And so AI agents will work a lot better with scraping other data sources, but it still does pretty well on LinkedIn regardless. So I'm going to go ahead and add the output as a column, and we're going to go ahead and look at a few of these. So we'll take a look at this, and we'll take a look at LinkedIn. Ravant Desauji, probably said that wrong. Sorry, Ravant. Chief Executive Officer at American IT Systems. So, yep, that looks like the right guy. Ravant, American IT Systems. Take a look at the next one. Gina Hardy, CEO, North Carolina, Joint Underwriting. Gina Hardy. Yep, Gina Hardy, that looks like the right person. So now we've got the LinkedIn profile. Now, why did we get the LinkedIn profile? Well, we need that to actually get the mobile phone number in Clay. And so if I go to this response, so an AI agent is always going to output it as a response. And so what you'll see is if you actually click into the data cells underneath the AI enrichment, this is actually a structured data set. So what does that mean? Well, it's not just LinkedIn. If you click into it, it actually has a bunch of different data points. For example, the cost that you spent using your API. In this case, I use my OpenAI API. It's 0.00043 cents. So if I copy that, and let's say I wanted to run that across 10,000 people, it would cost me $4, and it would do it in seconds. So imagine how long it would take an SDR to do that. These AI web researchers are super efficient for being able to prospect at scale. So let's go back to my Clay table here. And now let's say I want to find the mobile phone numbers. I can go ahead and click insert right, add enrichment, and I'm going to say mobile phone number, right? And I'm going to say I want them for USA and Canada. Now it's going to do the same thing it did with the email. It's doing a waterfall where it's checking different data sources for that person. All I need to put in is the social profile URL. Okay. And then for most of these data sources, for this specific data source, which is Nimbler, it's asking for a different one. So I'm just going to remove it just for simplicity. So I can always remove any, like if I want to remove a certain data provider, like let's say this one, which is more expensive, 25 credits. I don't want that one. I'm going to delete it from my waterfall. Then I can go ahead and click save and run 10 rows. It's going to, on average, cost 7 credits for every single row that's run. You'll see it's starting to add those columns, and it's going to find those mobile phone numbers. Now, I will say these mobile phone numbers are really, really good, and they have a really good find rate. So we can see here in Forager in seconds, we got 5 cell phone numbers of these people. Then the next thing, it's going to check the next one. All right, we got 2 more. Then it's going to check the next one, or got 3 more. Right, and it's going to keep going through. We already found 80%. Now, if we go through the rest of these, we might get up to 9 or 10. Let's go ahead and let this run, and let's see what we find. So no match found, no mobile found. It's going on to the next one, the next one, the next one. So we're getting really, really comprehensive data scraping, and that's the power of Clay, right? You can plug in with hundreds of different data sources natively. And so we got one more. So we got 9 out of 10 mobile phone numbers. So that's really, really good. And these are going to have a way better connection rate than any other singular data source because you're relying on multiple different data sources to get your data. All right, so that's really the basics of how to use the UI of Clay. Now let's talk about how you can create a table based on a lookalike list. So let's say I have a good list of customers that I already have, and I want to find similar companies to those. So I can go to do ocean.io, which is an integration with Clay, and I'll use the Clay managed IO account, so it'll be 1 credit per company, and I'll put in the domain of some existing customers I have. So for example, Anvil.so is one of the clients that we worked with, and they have a drone inspection software. And so let's say we have some of their customers here. And so let's say for one of them, example is Sky360 Aerial, okay? We can get to their website here. Let's say another one is Hextronics. So let's go ahead and look up Hextronics to get their website. Then let's say I just want to grab one more. Like for example, let's say Drone View Insights right here. So I'm going to look up Drone View Insights. I've got 3 good customers here where I want to potentially find lookalike companies for. So I'm just going to copy this domain, 360aerial.com, and I'm going to add it. Then I'm going to add in hextronics.com. Then I'm going to add in droneviewinsights.com. So now I'm giving it some data about lookalike companies. I'm not going to put in any additional filters for the sake of this, just keep it simple. I'm going to say I want 100 results of lookalike companies. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click continue. Now what you'll see is ocean.io is going to start generating companies that are similar to these companies that I fed in. So it found a bunch of similar companies. And we have a lot of data about these companies, the company name, the domain, the company size, the description, their LinkedIn profile. But I can even click into this and I can see more data about the companies. And let's say, for example, I also want the revenue size. I can just click add as column. I could change the name here if I want to, but I'm good with that name. And now let me check these websites. So Fixer.pro. Okay, autonomous drones. This looks like similar to what I do, and it seems like it'd be a good fit for my offer. Okay, let's look at another one. Air 6 Systems. While that loads, I'll just pull up a couple more. Okay, another drone company, drone training. This one doesn't look so great. Airways.co is low. Let's just pull up one more. Fly Logics, measuring emissions, environmental monitoring, search and rescue. All right, so this one doesn't look like a good fit. It's not doing a lot around drones. So let's say I want to go through and do some further classification of these companies. That's where the AI web researcher comes in. So I'm going to go to the domain. I'm going to insert right. I'm going to use AI. And I'm going to go to that web researcher again. I'm going to select again 4.0 mini model because it's very cheap, very powerful still. And I'm going to say, please visit /domain and identify if they offer any sort of drone inspection, orthomosaic, or drone imaging services. If they do, output yes. Otherwise, output no. Do not output anything other than yes or no. And so this might be something you would tell an SDR to do. But in this case, I don't want to tell an SDR to do it because an SDR is going to take a lot longer to do it. And it's going to be a lot more expensive. So I'm just going to tell the AI to do it in plain English. And I inputted the domain, which is super important. It needs that to know where to research it. I'm going to go click and save and run 100 views. And now in a matter of seconds, we're going to have all the answers that we want. We can even see the steps that it took. And we'll start to see some results come in here pretty quickly. All right, so we see some coming in already. So we can click into this and we can see the response. Let's say I want to add that as a column. We can also see the reasoning of how it came to that. We can also see the steps that it took. I visited the website. They had text on the webpage, FAA approved commercial UAS services for construction, oil, gas, utilities, inspection, warehouses, and asset tracking. So that seems pretty accurate. So I did a good job. And so we can see the cost here again, 0.0047. If I wanted to do it, let's say for 100,000 companies, it would cost me $47, all done with AI, completely automated. Okay, so we're going to cover filtering here. So I'm just going to go here to where it says no filters, and I'm going to select the response column, which is yes or no. And I'm going to say response is equal to yes. I just want to see the ones that do drone inspection, okay? Now I want to view a couple of their websites. And I just want to verify that the AI did a good job. And so I'm just going to pull up a couple of these. And while these load, pull up a few more. And we can look at these and see if the AI did a good job. Aerialtronics, the world's most versatile commercial drone, face mask detection software. A little creepy, but it seems like a pretty accurate fit. It looks like it's doing an inspection here or doing some sort of inspection product. Applications, yeah, does a lot of inspections. That's a good fit. All right, UAV. This looks more like a news article. Doesn't seem as on track with what we're looking for. So I want to go ahead and error check that. So that's uav.org. So let's go ahead and see why it said yes. They offer various drone services, including drone inspections, orthomosaic mapping, and drone imaging, as indicated by multiple references on their website. Let's take a look at this a little bit more. I don't agree, but let's check the other ones. This is more of a software. I wouldn't consider that a good fit. This one is, so they're doing drone inspections. I can tell real quick. They're doing agricultural spraying. They're doing crop monitoring. That's an inspection, asset inspection, mapping. Okay, let's see Nerth Lab. All right, so this is a platform, so we need to get more specific, and so we need to give it more context. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to say if they sell drones, manufacture drones, offer softwares around drones, or represent a news article about drones, output no. Okay, now I'm going to save and don't run because I just want to run this on some specific ones like uav.org. This should definitely be wrong. So I'm going to go to uav.org and I'm just going to click on that one cell. I'm going to click run. And so now I'm going through the process of prompting. Some people might call it prompt engineering. I think that's a little facetious, so I'm just going to call it prompting. And I'm just going to go ahead and click play on that one specific row. And then, now it says no. So it looks like it needed that additional context. Let's do micro drones as well. That one should also be no. So let's click that one. And I think Nerth Lab should probably be no as well. Let's rerun that one. If I'm happy with the output, it's always a good practice to run on 10 rows, check them, make sure they're good. And then once they're about 90% right, then you can run on all rows. So it looks like micro drones, it's still saying yes. Let's go check their website one more time and see. So it looks like this one is having trouble because there's a lot of articles about them offering it, but it doesn't look like they actually offer that. So it's not going to be perfect, right? Just like a salesperson, it's not going to be perfect. And so Nerd Lab as well, it's also saying yes. Let's take a look. We can see the reason why. A lot of research here. You could view it through that. But for the most part, it is getting a lot of these right. So that would be how you could use the AI web researcher to then qualify these companies. All right, so let's talk a little bit about AI copywriting. Here I am in Instantly. This is a cold email campaign that we're running for one of our clients. They've gotten over 171 opportunities in the last 6 weeks. And I want to talk a little bit about how we did that, because most of the conversion is actually driven through AI copywriting. And so if we look at the sequence here, we can actually see the copy. And so we'll see entire sentences actually being pulled into the email. So we'll say, like, hey, first name, sentence 1 at company name. Let's be real, sentence 2, and then it goes into the pitch of the client. So if we preview the email, we can see that generated. Hey, Kenneth, I see you're helping individuals with primary care and pediatrics with health services and checkups at Atrium Health Floyd. So this is all AI generated. But let's be real, chronic conditions like diabetes and asthma is a long-term thing. Are you giving your clients something they actually want to keep coming back for? This is also AI generated. And so that personalization at the beginning of the sentence builds a ton of trust with your prospects and gets them really positioned to actually consume your pitch, which is coming up next. And so if we look at the leads where we imported them, we can see that we're importing those entire sentences, which have been generated in Clay. And so how do we generate those? Well, let's go ahead and pop over to the Clay table and we can see how we did that. So we've got the company domain, full name, we've got the job title, the company name, company website. And what we're doing, if we scroll to the right here, we can actually look at how sentence 1 is generated. So we actually ran an AI agent. So we just insert right, use AI web researcher, just like we did before. We put in our API key and 4.0 mini web research model. We put in our prompt. Take a look at insert the website to learn about what they do and who their ideal customers are. Write a sentence. I see you're helping insert their top 2 ideal customers with insert what they're helping their top 2 ideal customers with in 6 to 7 words. Only write the sentence and nothing else. Keep it to 15 words or less and say it in the 7th grade language level. Don't use a period or any sort of punctuation at the end of the sentence. And the reason why is because we're going to segue that into at company name, so we don't want a period at the end of the sentence. And so you tell it all the formatting, all the tone, everything you want it to write. And so for one company, it might say, hey, I see you're helping people seeking anti-aging treatments with safe, non-invasive procedures. Another one, it might say, I see you're helping exercisers and busy individuals with personalized workouts and nutrition plans. And then we can create the second sentence, right? Hey, take a look at the website again to learn about what their ideal customers mainly struggle with. Example, these are also mentioned in sentence 1, and then we have another prompt to write a second sentence. Then to import these directly into Instantly, we just go ahead and go here to export table. We'll go ahead and click download CSV. This is a huge table, so we're not actually going to be able to download this really quickly. But then what you'll do when you go to Instantly and you import your leads, you'll go ahead and upload that CSV. I'll just pick a random one so you can see an example. And then you would find that field that says sentence 1, right? Just like we have here, sentence 1 and sentence 2. You would select those and you would put custom variable. And then when you have them imported, you can actually go into your sequences and you can actually pull that in as a variable, sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, and it'll populate those. You can go ahead and preview them. So that's one way we might do it. Let's take a look at another client, which in this one's a lot more complex of how you can do not only AI personalization, but pulling custom data from Clay to actually write super personalized email. So this is a CO company, super saturated market, but we're still able to drive a really good result. So here's a campaign that we launched 2 days ago, 32 opportunities in 2 days. In SEO, one of the most saturated industry. This is unheard of. And it comes to the copywriting. And so let's take a look at this. And so we're pulling in a lot of stuff. Hey, first name, I usually let my team handle these, but since you're the title, I thought it'd be best to reach out to you personally. Sentence 1, sentence 2, mainly. But despite these competitors, there's still about 90% of long tail keywords like, keywords that no one is ranking for, XYZ. And so we're pulling in a lot of custom context here. So let's see what the preview email looks like. Lizzie, I usually let my team handle these, but since you're the owner, I thought it'd be best to reach out to you personally. Have you noticed how Lizandez and the Leather Crew are currently ranking for many of the same keywords as you do? They're offering leather bags and wallets mainly. But despite these competitors, there's still about 90% of long-tail keywords like bohemian fashion clothing for women and handmade leather bags and accessories that no one is ranking for. That's a massive traffic that you're missing out on. We've got a system to tap into these huge audience on autopilot. It automatically optimizes your website for thousands of long-tail searches and brings in a steady stream of high-intent traffic without spending a cent on ads. Can I tell you more in a quick call? P.S. We've already implemented this for Adore Beauty, Appliances Online, and then Best and Less, and they love it. I'm sure you'll like it too. And so we're adding in a ton of personalization here. We've researched who they are. We're telling them why we reached out. We're listing competitors that they're already competing with, that they'll be familiar with. We're showing that they're offering something similar to what Lizzie is offering, which is from Tunketi. We're also showing and injecting in specific keywords that they would want to rank for, right? So if we look up Tunketi and we go to their website, we see that they offer bohemian fashion. And if we look at their website, they offer a lot of accessories, leather bags, vegan leather, crochet bags. And so those are the keywords that we're ranking. Hey, we can help you rank for bohemian fashion clothing for women and handbag leather bags and accessories. This email looks handwritten, but it's not handwritten. It's all made with AI at scale. And so we're able to send thousands of emails and book over 20 meetings, 36 opportunities in 2 days. And so we can come here and look at their Clay table and we can see, how are we generating that? Well, we have the basic stuff: full name, title, website, company. And that's the basic stuff that everybody has. You don't want to be like fucking everybody. We're going above and beyond to really get that result. And I'm going to show you guys the fucking secret sauce. Now stick with me. If you guys put in, you can replicate this at your company. Let's identify their top competitors. So we have an AI web researcher. Take a look at their website to learn about what they do and who their top 2 competitors are, and output them in the following format: competitor 1, competitor 2. Insert the website of their top competitor in Australia. Insert the website, only return the websites and nothing else. And then we give it the fields: competitor 1, competitor 2. Now I can open this. I can just select competitor 1, competitor 2, add them as a column. So here we have competitor 1 and 2. Then I have another AI, which is going to say, take a look at their website and their 2 competitors to learn what they all sell in common. And then follow in this sentence: have you noticed how, and I'm giving my copywriter a raise because he's killing this. Have you noticed how insert normalized 1 to 2 words name of competitor 1 and normalized 1 to 2 words name of competitor 2 are currently ranking for many of the same keywords as you do? And then sentence 2, they're offering, insert the top 2 service products that competitor 1 and competitor 2 are offering. And then sentence 3, I can bring more, insert who the top 3 ideal customers of company name are in 2 to 3 words in Australian casual colloquial language to your website. And now it's going to output these sentences, right? Sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3. And so that's what I'm pulling in here. Sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, right? Keywords. And now it's writing the entire email super personalized. And what is the cost to run this? 0.002 cents. 0028. If I wanted to run that for 10,000 companies, it cost me $28, and I'm getting incredible conversion for pennies on the dollar. Now you get a keyword ranking, right? And we have another generate sentence. Take a look at the website to learn about what they provide. Hey, you're ranking for long tail keywords like, insert 4 to 5 long tail keywords they might show up for, and then boom, blasting that out. Okay, dude, this is insane, right? And you might think, wow, this is overwhelming. How do I know where to start? Well, the best part is, write an email out manually, right? So maybe write out an email like this manually. And then later, when you start to understand how these AI web researchers work, the more you use them, you'll be able to understand, when you're writing out the email manually before building out the AI agents, exactly what kind of stuff you'll be able to find. Like finding competitors that offer same products, that's something an AI web researcher can do very easily. Finding long tail keywords they like to rank for, that's something that can be done very easily. Finding competitors in the paid search, that's something that can be done very easily with SEMrush. And the more you use Clay, the better you'll get it. This is an exponential thing, right? The more you do it, the better you'll get. Guys, these are the freaking secrets. And so that's another example and why we're able to get insane response rates. Now, we could keep going and go through tons and tons of these examples where we have clients who are booking hundreds of meetings, but now I'm going to show you how to turn any company list into a list of decision makers. So we've gone to build with, we've downloaded our list. Now I'm just going to go ahead and import it. So I'm going to import from CSV. I'm going to grab my file here and I'm going to go ahead and upload this, guys. And just stick with me. I swear to you, if you follow this process, you're going to be ahead of 99.9999% of salespeople. And you're going to be well on your way to making yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, by just getting really, really good at your craft, right? Let's see how we can improve. This is how I was able to generate over $100,000 a month for myself by helping companies do this kind of stuff. And now I'm going to show you guys how to do it yourself. So we're going to go ahead and import this table here, and you're only going to need 2 things. You only need company name and domain. So if you have a list of that, you'll be pretty much good to go. So we're going to see here, it's going to load in the columns first, then it's going to start to add the rows. So I'll go ahead and refresh. You'll see these loading in. So let me go ahead and delete these header columns or header rows, company name, and this looks like the company domain. This is all you're going to need. So I'm going to delete all this extra stuff. I don't need any of those. I just need the company name, the company domain. So let me delete these. All right, so I got company name, company domain. Now, there's a template that I've created for you guys. That's plug and play. You can use it and you can generate any list of titles that you want. So let's get right into it. So in the description, go look for the template that says find people. And I'm going to just go ahead and pull it up from my templates here. I got it right here. I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to copy the link, and you're just going to put this link directly into your URL. And what you can do is you can just create a table using this template. Go ahead and select your workspace. All right, let's go back to that original table that we just made with the company name, the company domain. I'm going to rename this my Shopify Plus companies so I can find it real easy. And I want to add that to the workbook of the clay table. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one, and I'm going to make sure it's a workbook, so it already is. If not, you can come here and click convert to workbook. And I'm going to go ahead and take this one, and I'm going to go ahead and click right up here, move table to workbook, and I'm going to select this table that I just added. So the name's still updating, but I'm adding it here. All right, so I've got this sheet, and I'm just going to name this companies, okay? And then I'm going to rename this just find people. Okay. And so now what I need to do is I need to get the companies into the find people table. Let's take a look at the format. Company name, domain. All right. So let me just add a couple rows. And what I can do is I can just take the company name and domain. I won't select all of them because I don't want this to be loading all day, guys. I just want to show you how it works. But there's no limit to the amount of companies that you can do. So let's just select about 500. I'm going to copy these. I'm going to select here. I'm just going to add them in. Just that easy. Now what you need to do is just edit this column. Follow with me, guys. Put in the job titles that you want to find at these companies. And so I'm going to put in Chief Executive Officer. I'm going to say CEO. I'm going to say owner. Just put a comma between each one. Owner, president, founder, VP of sales, VP of marketing. So these are all the job titles that I want, right? So I'm just click save. And these ones specifically are actually in Australia that I want. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to change Australia. I'm going to click save. And now I've got the location of the people that I want, their job titles. I've got the company that they're at and the website of the company that they're at. I'm almost done. So now I'm just going to delete this clean company name. And maybe I'll delete this for you in the template, guys. That shouldn't be in there. And so now I've got the find people. There's just one edit that we have to make. Just go in, make sure the location is lined up with the column. If any of these were errored out or something, you just know company domain / look for the one that's domain, add it in, okay? And then there's one change here. Come down here to where it says JSON schema. And you want to update these job titles right here in the same format to the ones that you have here. So the easiest way to do that, just copy these titles, just go to ChatGPT, open up your chat box. I'm just going to go to our account and I'm going to say, take this list of job titles, boom, 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 add them in, copy, paste, and then I'm going to copy the ones that are here and I'm going to say, and put in this format, or you could just say, put in a JSON array, right? Just put in a JSON array. And this is going to be real simple, guys, here. So we just take these here, add them in, just follow exactly as I do, paste them in, you're done, right? You can click save and run 10 rows. And now this AI agent has a prompt that it's going to go through and it's going to find every single one of those people at those companies, and you don't have to do a thing. Settings, claim, deleted columns. Let's just go ahead and take a look here. Here, so company name. So here's where we want to make sure company name. So you can always make sure these are lined up if you need to. You can just delete all these columns. And since you're moving stuff around, just make sure they're added in. So location, put location, job titles, put job titles, company name, put company name. This isn't always necessary, but if you do run an error, you can just do this. You can fix it real quick, guys. And so save and run 10 rows. And so we'll see these are running. So basically what these are doing, the AI agent has instructions on what to do. It wants to extract specific staff information from company websites and LinkedIn profile. So it has directions on what to do, right? Go check out the company website, navigate the website, check about us, check our team, check leadership, check company, see if you can find these people. And so what we'll see is already found 4 people: Scott Trench, CEO, Aaron Sandals, CEO, Lindsey Buxton, CEO, Katie Miller, CEO. So these are 8-figure companies. So one thing to keep in mind is that it's not going to be perfect. A lot of websites have anti-scraping technology, and that's going to cause the ClayGent or the AI web researcher to be wrong sometimes. But it's going to be comprehensive, and you're definitely going to get the right people. So here we have 2 CEOs. Do they have 2 CEOs? Probably not. But we're going to have a redundancy later that's going to make sure that it gets out the wrong people, and I'll show you how that works here. But we're finding a good amount of people here, and you don't have to lift a finger. And you might go through here, and I wouldn't even look at the LinkedIn profiles because, like I said, LinkedIn has anti-scraping technology. But you could go through here and you could say, well, some of these are wrong. Well, our Instantly campaign is booking hundreds of opportunities with the actual people who work at those companies. So a lot of the times it's also right. And that's what you want to focus on with cold email. Cold email is infinitely scalable. You can send thousands and thousands of emails. So if half of the people are wrong, Well, half of the people are right. So that's still thousands of the right people. So keep that in perspective. Then we have a second one here, which is just select people. And so you just can click run all. And what this is basically going to do is it's going to do a double check to make sure there's no hallucinations. Sometimes AI will hallucinate, right? And it will try to find the CEO and it might return a job title that's not any of these. And so this second AI is just saying, I need you to analyze this first list and just remove all the ones that don't match these job titles. So this is just a redundancy. So you'll see here, the people that it found, some of them are getting removed, right? So we can click rerun. It's just selecting those individuals. Then we want to do is just write this to the next table. And so we don't have the next table. And so that's going to be the second template is going to come in below. So you're just going to come here to the second template, final people. I'm going to share this link, guys. You're just going to copy this link in. You're going to create a table using this template in your workspace. Same thing. You're going to move it to that existing table. And now we're going to get all the emails of those people. So I'm going to move this table to workbook. I'm going to add it here. And this is the final step where you can start doing the copywriting. So I'm just going to rename this final people. And now I want to write these people row by row to the next table, right? I can't import them in this way. So I want to write them row by row. So you're just going to click write to good bad fit table. You're going to select this new table that you just added. And then you're going to select the stuff you want to write over. Name of the prospect you want to write over, the title of the prospect you want to write over, and then that's really the only ones that matter in this add values from objects in select people. Then you want to add other data from this table. So you can just delete anything that pops up, and you just want to make sure that you're also writing over the company name and the domain. So I'm just going to click this. I'm going to select company name I want to write over. I'm going to select domain, and I'm going to write this over, and then I'm going to save and run 10 rows. And what you'll see is it's going to take these individuals, it's going to write them. So this one has 8. There you go. It created 8 rows. This one has 4. It created 4 rows. So if I go look at that one, now you'll see it should be right here. So I'll remove this filter. I'm going to turn off auto update, and we have the people. Full name, chief executive officer, company name, domain. So I'm going to move this over to company name and domain. Looks like we have a duplicate column. So I'll just clean up my table here a little bit, guys. We've got the job title. We've got the domain. Now we got all the people. Now we just need their email. Well, like we remember what we did before, we can just enrich that, right? So I'm just going to edit this column. I'm going to plug in the full name, plug in the domain, and I'm just going to save and run this. Now, if you're reaching out to local businesses, you might say, well, hey, if I can't find the decision maker's email, which we're going to find a lot of them, maybe I want to scrape their company website and see if they have a generic contact email. So you could run this row if that's something that would make sense. These are huge 8-figure companies, so I'm not sure this would make sense to reach out to them. But we'll just say for the company website, and you just plug in that domain you wrote over. Please try to identify a contact email address. We'll save and run. We already have built in for you guys in this template a conditional run, only run if we didn't find the decision maker's email, and then it'll merge them together, right? And so here we'll say it's going to get some things wrong, but most of the time it's going to get it right. We have, okay, great. If we found the decision maker's email, that's the one we want on the final email. But if we can't find the decision maker, we still want to reach out to this company. This is a good company for us. We already qualified it. So try to find a generic contact email. And we do get a lot of responses from these. Now you're at the point where you can go write the copy, right? I could just take this and I could run it for all the rows, and I could get a list of 10, 20, 50,000 people. And this is the exact process that we did for our client. And this is the same process that we use for finding people for all of our clients. And we book thousands and thousands of opportunities. So you can copy this below. So you're going to need one template for find people, one for final people. You just add these to a workbook with the companies that you have and go through this process. So I've shared all the secrets with you guys of how we grow our agency. Now you have everything you need to start growing your business fast with Clay. But Clay is just one of the tools that you should be using. And if you aren't using the other tools that others are taking advantage of right now, you're going to be left behind. So click on this video here where I go through how I'm using other tools and platforms right now to grow my business and get clients so fast it feels illegal. I'll see you guys on the next one.